What drives someone to commit such a brutal act, where a life is not only taken but erased almost entirely from existence? What compels individuals to dispose of a body in the most horrific manner, using corrosive acids as tools of destruction? These are questions that have haunted investigators and shocked the public with the chilling nature of the crimes. In today's video, we dive into the sinister world of acid bath murders, where victims' bodies were disposed of in acid, leaving behind only a trail of horror. Watch the full video, but before diving in, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you never miss stories like this. Let's explore 3 disturbing acid bath murders that shocked the world. Number 3. The murder of 24-year-old Eva Bro. In the summer of 2015, the world was shaken by the brutal murder of 24-year-old Eva Bro, a French woman who became the victim of a truly chilling acid bath disposal. Eva's life ended when she was targeted by 2 men, Taha Aloy and Zakaria Boni, who had a plan to rob her apartment. But the situation quickly escalated when they decided to brutally bake her to extract money and drugs. Aloy and Boni, both of whom had come from Morocco to study in France, had recently turned to a life of crime. Boni, who had struggled with school, was introduced to hard drugs by Aloy, and the two became fast friends. Their criminal activities soon took a darker turn when they decided to rob Eva Bro, a woman they had met through a mutual acquaintance who was a drug dealer. On the night of July 26, 2015, after consuming methamphetamine, Aloy and Boni went to Eva's apartment to rob her. They beat her senseless with brass knuckles and a crowbar, striking her 5 or 6 times in total. The result was fatal. Eva was left lying lifeless in her own home, but the 2 men were not finished. They decided to dispose of her body in a horrifying manner. Taking a page from the fictional world of Breaking Bad, where the character Walter White dissolves bodies in hydrofluoric acid, Aloy and Boni sought to replicate the method by purchasing acid to dissolve her remains. They bought a large tub and 15 cans of hydrochloric acid, intending to dissolve her body entirely. However, unlike the show, they soon discovered that real-life acid doesn't work as simply as it does on screen. Despite their best efforts, the body didn't dissolve as they hoped, and they were left to deal with the gruesome aftermath. They placed Eva's dismembered body in the tub and left it in her apartment, where they checked on it daily. The smell grew unbearable, but they tried to mask it with air fresheners, hoping to evade detection. In the months that followed, the case remained unsolved until Taha Aloy came forward with new information. Initially, Aloy implicated the drug dealer Gamal in the murder, but later changed his story, admitting that he and Boni were the ones responsible for the crime. Both men were arrested and charged with murder. The trial, which took place in 2019, lasted 15 days. The jury convicted the 2 men, but instead of sentencing them to life imprisonment, Aloy received 30 years and Boni was sentenced to 25 years in prison. The brutal murder of Eva Bro not only shocked the French public, but also left many wondering how someone could commit such a heinous crime and attempt to erase the evidence in such a horrific manner. Number 2. The disturbing case of Gordon Simple and Stefano Brizzi. Another tragic and disturbing story is that of Gordon Simple, a 59-year-old police officer from London who met Stefano Brizzi, a 49-year-old Italian man, on the gay dating app Grindr. Their connection ultimately led to a horrifying series of events, with an end that would shock everyone who learned about it. Gordon had worked for over 3 decades in the London Metropolitan Police, while Stefano had a background in investment banking before his life took a dark turn due to his addiction to methamphetamine. Brizzi had suffered a series of personal tragedies, including the loss of his job and struggling with addiction, which contributed to his eventual downfall. By 2016, Brizzi was living a double life, juggling his addiction while attempting to cope through support group meetings. It was during these meetings that his obsession with Breaking Bad became evident. His addiction and fascination with the show eventually led to his involvement in a chilling crime. On April 1, 2016, Simple and Britzy exchanged messages on Grindr, discussing their plans for a chemsex party, where drugs are used to enhance sexual experiences. Their communication was explicit, and it was clear that they were both looking for an extreme experience. As the evening progressed, Britzy tried to recruit other men for the event. However, one potential participant reported hearing disturbing sounds through the intercom, such as someone vomiting, and ultimately left. The following morning, Gordon Simple did not return home or contact his partner, Gary Meeks. After a series of attempts to reach him, Gary reported Gordon missing. 5 days later, on April 7, 2016, the police were called to Britzy's apartment. Neighbors had complained about a horrid Britzy was involved in. Smell coming from the apartment, describing it as a mixture of chemicals and rotting flesh. When the police arrived, they discovered the gruesome truth. Britzy answered the door in nothing but a pink Speedo and appeared unbothered by the investigation. Upon searching the apartment, police found pools of fat inside the oven, and the stench confirmed that something horrendous had occurred. The chilling details surrounding Gordon Simple's death shocked the public, as it was clear that his death was connected to the extreme and disturbing practices. That this case not only highlights the dangers of addiction and the influence of media like Breaking Bad, but also reveals a terrifying glimpse into the extreme behavior that can be fueled by drugs and obsession. It raised many questions about the line between fantasy and reality, especially when it comes to drugs, sex, and violence. Number 1. The infamous acid bath murder of the United Kingdom. A notorious acid bath murder in the UK shocked the nation, involving a criminal who used sulfuric acid to dissolve victims' remains to erase evidence. Known for a violent past, the murderer dismembered a victim, scattering body parts around an apartment before attempting to destroy them with acid. Despite the initial lack of physical evidence, investigators discovered acid traces at the scene, unraveling the horrifying crime. The case gained widespread attention for its brutality and meticulous planning, reminiscent of fictional methods. The criminal was ultimately arrested and charged with multiple murders, highlighting the extremes some go to evade justice. What do you think? If you found this story as heart-wrenching as we did, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment below to let us know your thoughts on this case. Your voice matters. Together, we can keep seeking justice, one story at a time.